Hey, what's happening, gamers? Welcome back to the Lego Batman DS, the bad guys.
Oh no!
Doing bad things. It's time for the Mr. Freeze Ice Cream Factory.
Oh, eating ice cream
That's right.
is bad,
It's time
especially
for
before
brain
dinner.
freeze. Like this video for Mr. Freeze. Do it now. So we gotta go get the freeze cannon. So that means it's time to put the chill on Gotham.
Yeah, you should like this video if you think it's really cool.
Yes. It's so ice.
It's ice to meet all of you.
So there's the donut stereotype for the poor police officers.
Oh my gosh. Why? Will that donut
Sprinkles.
stereotype never end?
No, because
There's
they
no-
do eat a lot of donuts.
There's no way they eat that many donuts.
Hello, I'm here to put the chill into your donuts. Ha! Not the donuts!
No.
It's very nice to meet you. Oh my gosh.
Everybody, freeze.
Now, Amber and I were actually talking about this before we started filming.
Yep.
Because I told her we'd be doing Mr. Freeze next. She's like, could they do a Mr. Freeze movie in the cinematic universe? And
Arkham style.
an Arkham-style Mr. Freeze, and I'm like, that's very interesting, and I think that would work out pretty well.
But it's too
But
soon.
I think it's too soon because people still remember
No.
that as Arnold Schwarzenegger's worst role of all time.
Yeah, I would want a Mr. Freeze movie that would make me cry. Like, that
Watch
you
Batman and Robin. Was that too cold?
No, I mean, like, that would make you feel like the way that when you watch Heart of Ice and you're just like, and you have to, like, hold your blanket around you and, like, you're just sitting there like, oh my god.
We were talking about
No.
this, like, in order to do something different, I mean, to have, and since Jeff Johns is involved, if you had the Batman movie about Mr. Freeze, that would be pretty awesome. Because they're still
Oh my
trying to figure out
gosh.
what the script is, and we know that Deathstroke is involved, but if you go back to
Well-
Arkham Origins, both Mr. Freeze and Deathstroke appeared in Arkham Origins.
Yeah, I mean, Mr.
So-
Freeze is the... I mean, he's one of my... I mean, I understand why they used him in Batman and Robin, because he is one of the best villains ever.
They ruined him in it.
Oh, of course they ruined him, but I mean, like, they used one of the best villains.
Schumacher was a big fan of the 60s show,
Yeah.
and he liked doing the two villain pairing. So he wanted to do a movie with
Yeah, it's...
two current popular characters in the DC universe
Them
at that
working
time,
together was stupid.
which was Poison Ivy and Mr. Freeze,
I don't
because
like
they
that.
were big characters on the animated series, and he wanted to cash in on that.
I
and
would have
he
done
messed
Mr.
it up.
Freeze on my own, and Poison Ivy would have been like a minor side character they had to stumble across to get to Mr. Freeze that had nothing to do with Mr. Freeze.
Poison Ivy and Mr. Freeze both got brand new origins in Batman the Animated Series that were adapted into the comics within a few years.
Yeah.
Before work began on the Batman Forever movie.
Is it okay
or
to
Batman
say
and Robin.
I really liked the look of Mr. Freeze in the Arkham because it was so... It seemed like you could actually picture a real human looking like that. Like, so I really liked that, and I thought they did a great job. I could definitely see that as, like, that entire storyline as a movie. Like, and even how Nora looked and everything. Like, it just... I don't know. You could... It was very real, so, yeah. Whereas everything else that I've seen Mr. Freeze in, including Arnold's version, was very cartoony, so, yeah.
And they did adapt Mr. Freeze's origin in that, but they did it like within 30 to 40 seconds.
Yeah.
Showing, like, you know, his wife and him falling into chemicals. He just fell into the chemicals, though. He didn't, you know. And then the new
Yeah.
52 was like, let's take Mr. Freeze's amazing origin that we just revamped about less than 20 years ago, and let's make him obsessed with this woman from the 50s who's not his wife, and have him go through this traumatic.
Oh,
and
I
it's
don't
like
that. It's so stupid. It's so
I
weird
still don't
and
know if DC
psychological.
Rebirth has fixed Mr. Freeze, not or yet. Like,
Yeah, I mean, like, there's some other villains I could picture in the Batman movie, but, I mean, I think Deathstroke is a pretty good choice. Mr. Freeze is great. Like what you were saying before with a really cool-looking villain like Clayface or Man-Bat or something would be great, but...
Unfortunately, Man-Bat is not in the DS version of this. I don't even think he's an unlockable character, but he was in Lego Batman 1, if memory serves correctly.
Yeah, and okay, fine. I'll just say my thing about Man-Bat that I wish they could make a Batman movie called On Leather Wings. Like, that would be the name of the movie. The entire movie would be, like, Detective Batman trying to figure out what's going on.
Which we haven't really seen a lot of Detective Batman.
But it would have, like, jump scares and a lot of black screens, but it would just have, like...
So you're making a thriller.
It would have, like, thriller elements to it, but it would be a detective movie. That's what I would make. Maybe I'll have to, like, write a script, and then when I'm older, I can make that movie happen.
Just write the script and then attach it to Ben Affleck.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I love Jurassic Park, but that was kind of corny. I would want it not as corny as that. Like, kind of like Alien, but not as scary. More detective. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be great. Just like cool. I think Arkham did a great job with it. That jump scare really...
Oh, in Arkham Knight, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah, it gets me every time. The fact that they made it look like a bat, like, you know, like I've seen in cartoon version, but to see a giant bat coming at you, oh my gosh.
He looked like a bat in the cartoon version, though.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, if you're gonna do Mr. Freeze, I mean, what I think that Hollywood doesn't understand about these characters is you need to have good side characters, too. You can't have just, like, another villain be responsible for the creation of Mr. Freeze. It needs to be, like, a Ferris Boyle type character.
Yeah, you have all the characters involved. Like, you have, like, a depth of story for why he turned out like that. To the point where you realize, oh my gosh, if this happened to me, I would be Mr. Freeze. Basically, like, yeah, like...
Basically what Man of Steel 2 or Batman v Superman showed me... and the Suicide Squad is, in order for it to be a good Batman film, you don't really have to have a lot of Batman in there. You can feel his presence in the film. And then when you actually do see him on screen, it's more terrifying, and also, you know, you see the stuff behind it.
Like, you hype it up before he gets to the screen.
So if you focus more on, like, Mr. Freeze's origin and him working on this cure, like, you make it, like... kind of a medical movie a little bit.
Yeah, that would be great.
And then encompass his fall and his run-in with Batman.
You could even start out, like, seeing him as a doctor, and you could think it's going one way, and then have the movie go a completely different way.
Exactly, like they did with The Dark Knight with the bank heist opening. Like, I thought I was watching a crime drama.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and actually, you know what I was just thinking, Luke? Is, remember in the Keaton movie with, oh my gosh, Catwoman, and she's supposedly the villain, or the Joker supposedly the villain, whatever, but the real villain is the business guy who throws her out the window.
Maxwell Schreck.
He's actually the real villain. That could be kind of like, if you make it a Mr. Freeze movie, you can make it kind of like that. The way they did that was great, because it was like, Mr. Freeze is, quote, the villain, but in reality, the real villain is Ferris Boyle. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Exactly, yes.
If they would turn the movie like that, and then you would actually feel more for Mr. Freeze and, like, hate Ferris Boyle more than you actually are angry at Mr. Freeze. That would be awesome.
I would even do, I mean, you could take elements from Heart of Ice, from the, 3-hour DLC of Arkham Origins, and you could adapt bits and pieces of that into a full 2-hour movie.
We should start writing that right now, Luke.
Nah. My writing days are over.
I don't know.
I wrote that, what was it? How the DLC for Matter of Family should have ended.
Oh.
And that took like a week to write. So, I mean...
Yeah, you used to write a lot of, like,
fanfics?
Stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Before the YouTube thing started to take off. Mm-hmm. Although now I'm kind of in a lull period, but I'm not at that where I can just
I still want to get you to the point where you can do more, like, reviews and just fun videos that you like, but, YouTube is YouTube.
I'm having fun right now, though.
Oh, yeah, I'm glad. I like just talking about Batman and all our ideas.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, I really like this guy reminds me of Arkham a little bit, because the red eyes.
Mm-hmm. Woohoo! We found your freeze cannon! It is time to put the chill. No, I need that. But it is mine! Oh wait, we have company. How cold of them to not announce the presence. Are we going or what? He's monologuing. I will show you the true meaning of winter.
Oh,
Meanwhile, they're just sneaking off and leaving him behind or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe he's bossing them around, though.
But no, he's totally distracted. He's ADD, Mr. Freeze.
You know what I was just thinking, though? Like, well, there was a lot of problems with Arnold's freeze, but he was fun. I mean, he was the most fun part of that movie.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, the problem with Mr. Freeze and how he looked in that movie, there were so many problems. But he looked so healthy, but he was just blue. Like, he looked like a Smurf Freeze. But, like,
did you know there are
yeah.
actually bootlegs where they have taken Poison Ivy and Bane out of the movie, and it's just about Mr. Freeze, and it's actually watchable?
Yeah, he was the best part of the movie. But, like, okay, think about this. Arkham... Okay, I'll let you
No, that's
do your
fine.
thing.
I'm going to be driving.
Alright, well, Arkham Freeze... He looked sickly, like he was barely hanging on with his eyes being red.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's how Mr. Freeze, like, should look in live action. Like, you know what I mean? Because Arnold looked healthy and strong. Mr. Freeze hooked up to these machines.
He was all sickly and
exactly.
Yeah.
Like, it's more realistic that way. Plus, you felt for the character more. You realize this guy is struggling. That was so sweet at the end of Arkham when they held hands.
When I saw, like... what Victor Freeze looked like before he became Freeze in, you know, in the movie, like before he fell in the vat.
Yeah.
And you see how big he is, you're just thinking, how much does Victor bench? I mean, you have this big, imposing guy who, I mean, it was just ridiculous. It's nothing against Arnold. But you have this big, imposing guy pretending to be a doctor, looking at a clipboard that probably has, like, whey protein recipes or something. And then they're like, okay, Arnold, fall in the water. And he falls in the water and he's like, ah! Ah! Ah!
Well, Arnold used to be more realistic in some of his movies from the 80s.
No, he didn't.
Really?
He
You didn't like... Alright. Total Recall, I thought he was great in that.
Total Recall, but every single movie that Arnold is in, he plays the muscle-bound stereotype.
Yeah,
every
but
single
maybe
one.
He's just a regular guy who happens to have muscles. That's how I always picture
The only
it.
reason that he got the roles is because of his bulging muscles. That's it. Conan.
Some
Total
guys,
Recall.
you don't think there are regular
Predator.
people walking around with muscles like that?
No. I've never just
But
happened
Arnold
to walk into an Arnold.
is a person. What if someone like Arnold just was like sitting next to you in the grocery store
That
in
is
line?
not true. He's not a person. He is a T-1000. He's a Terminator who's trying to take over the world.
Alright, he could be a former Marine or something. I don't know.
Don't get me wrong, I love Arnold's comedies, though, because, I mean, the man, he's very talented, but he always plays that muscle-bound stereotype. Every single time.
Well, I mean, in the 80s, everything was extreme.
I'm even talking now!
Yeah, I understand what
He's
you're
had
saying.
a bunch of movies, like, after he came out of retirement.
What else can he do? He can't play a nerdy store clerk. I mean...
No.
He has to play who he is.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying that Mr. Freeze was such a wrong role for him on so many levels.
Yeah, he didn't look like a doctor.
Uh-oh, big problems ahead.
He also had too great
Oh, dear.
handwriting. You're supposed to have sloppy handwriting if you're a doctor.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, look about Dr. Captain Awesome was a doctor in Chuck, and he had muscles, but he didn't have bulging muscles.
No, he didn't. He had the right amount of muscles that were acceptable for
The acceptable amount of muscles for being a doctor.
for being Captain Awesome.
Yeah, okay. So I was going to say, I'm sure doctors would try to be in shape since it's their job to be healthy.
Run! Oh no, it's a dead end!
He was the most fun part of the movie, though.
Ivy, quick! Ivy's like, nah, I guess I'll help you guys out. We've got him now, Robin. Yeah, it's the same story as before. So, yeah, this feels like it's going
There's
really
Ivy.
fast.
I know. I mean, I should say more about Ivy, but I don't really. I wouldn't put her in a movie for a long time. She was great in the animated series.
If you're going to use these characters, this is the important thing about comic book films today. They have to be authentic. It has to be a genuine performance.
Ivy's been like so many. Yeah, Ivy would be just. I mean, it's. I think it would be really hard to play Ivy live action because she's a plant lady.
No. if you did her first appearance with Harvey Dent and did that storyline, and then you did
where she was dating Harvey?
Right. If you do that two-parter or whatever, and then you do her actual, thing where she becomes Poison Ivy and all this other stuff, if you actually use the source material very well, she has a very interesting story. But you have to do a great adaptation of it, or it's going to suck.
Yeah, but I mean, does Ivy really have a personality, though?
Yes.
All right.
She's a very cool character. Once we're off Mr. Freeze, I need to, jeez. Anyway, guys and gals, that does it for today's, short episode of 15 minutes. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and tell us what you think a Mr. Freeze film would be like in the comments below. We'll see you tomorrow. Stay cool.